recognize United Nations Watch.
Thank you, Madam President. The Vienna Declaration recognizes that the promotion and protection of all human rights is a legitimate concern of the international community. How should this Council focus the world's attention? Speaking here 2 weeks ago, the Secretary General urged us to scrutinize aspiring Council members. One candidate for the upcoming election is Pakistan. Despite its undertakings under the Vienna Declaration and other international instruments, the government of Pakistan continues to commit gross and systematic human rights violations. It turns a blind eye as women across Pakistan have acid thrown on their faces in actions that are supposed to promote honor. A disabled Christian girl was arrested for blasphemy. Asya Bibi, a Christian mother of 5, remains on death row for blasphemy. Another candidate is Venezuela. This Council instructed Venezuela to release a prisoner who was being arbitrarily detained. Judge Maria Afuni released that prisoner, complying with this Council's request by the Working Group of Arbitrary Detention. The judge was promptly thrown in prison after the President of Venezuela, Hugo Chavez, demanded that she receive that punishment. Finally, we also need to look at countries who hold out their promotion of human rights in this hall. Earlier today, there was an event held downstairs sponsored by the Islamic Republic of Iran. It declares that women's status in Iran is a model for the world. Yet, according to the BBC just a few weeks ago, more than 30 Iranian universities have introduced rules banning female students from almost 80 different degree courses, including engineering, nuclear physics, and computer science. Is this respect for women's rights? According to Amnesty International's latest annual report, women are discriminated against in law and in practice, including by a mandatory dress code. Madam President, the President of Iran calls for genocide against a UN member state and is about to speak before the UN. Should he not be held accountable and indicted for the crime of genocide instead of being given the UN podium? Thank you, Madam President.
Gracias.
Thank you. I now recognize Iran for a point of order.
Please remind the speaker to speak on a acceptable language of the Council and avoid irreversible accept. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Iran. And thank you for the reminder to the room, which applies to all delegations. I would also like to remind you that government organizations can exercise the right to reply later on, but I now see the United States for a point of order.
Thank you, Madam President. We highlight that the United States firmly believes that accredited NGOs must be permitted to speak in the Council. Though member states, including the U.S., may occasionally disagree with the content of NGO statements, it is essential that civil society voices be heard here in an atmosphere of open expression. Without addressing the substance of the Speaker's statement, we are of the opinion that what we have heard of the intervention was indeed addressed to the subject matter at hand before this Council on the Vienna Declaration. Madam President, we respectfully ask you, or would thank you, in fact, to have allowed the Speaker to finish his presentation. Thank you.
Gracias.
Thank you, United States. We are, of course, debating Agenda Item 8, which focuses on the Vienna Declaration and Programme of Action, which contains many political commitments that are entered into by all states party. All of these are held under different chapters and headings, and many delegations have been able to refer to very specific situations as a result of the framework for the discussion.